Hi, I'm Nathan Johnson, and in this video we're going to look at the configuration of an IO3400 in iecTeso. The IO3400 is a 8 24 volt digital input and 8 24 volt digital output IO module for the PC3. First, we must create some variables that we wish to map to the IO. For digital inputs, the type should be counter underscore channel. This is a structure that contains the IO value, the counter value, should we choose to use the input in counter mode, and an error feedback signal. We must make sure that the attribute is set to read and the direction is set to input. For the digital outputs, we must define variables with type digital underscore channel. This is a structure that contains the IO value that we will write to the output, the safe value, which is the state the IO card will set the value to should communications to the processor module be lost, and an error feedback signal. The attribute of these outputs should be set to free and the direction set to output. Once we have the variables defined, we can go to the IO wiring screen. I have already imported the IO boards, however they remain unconfigured. If we expand out the IO3400 here, we can get some help on the module by selecting it and clicking on Device Help. Alternatively, the user manual provides more extensive information. If we expand out the contents of this IO board, we can see it consists of a board parameters, which includes a timeout. This is a period of time in milliseconds for how long communications can be lost before the safe values are written to the outputs. Enable counting, which if configured to true will configure the inputs as counters, which will count the rising edges. This is a 16-bit counter that will wrap around once the maximum value is reached. Then there is a dig filter timeout. This is a debounce time for the digital inputs and defines how long the signal must change state for in milliseconds before the new value is registered. We then have the digital output board. When we select this, it will display all unwired variables that are of the correct type and direction. In this case, digital underscore channel and outputs. To map the outputs, we simply drag and drop them. For the digital inputs, or counter inputs if we have configured them as such, again it will, once selected, it will display all unwired variables of the correct type and direction, in this case counter channel and inputs. To map variables, we simply drag and drop them as we do with the digital outputs. If we are using the inputs in counter mode, the counter reset board allows us to connect output variables, which will allow us to, from the application, trigger the counters to reset. Once this is configured, we can close the IO wiring window, compile the project, download, we can then debug target, then from the IO wiring screen, we can check the IO is reading correctly. In this case, the first digital input of this card is set to true. We can also go to the dictionary and view the variables and confirm there is no error being reported. If a non-zero value is found, you should refer to the user manual for an explanation of the error code. For further information on the IO3400, please refer to the IO3400 user manual.